new financial services models around digital financial services are growing at a blitzkrieg pace. In country after country, we are seeing that financial inclusion is driven by technology-led models. In such a scenario, what is the client protection measures? What are the issues that are concerning clients about this new channel, about the introduction of new technology? We looked at and talked to clients in a few countries, and here is what they have to say. Clients are worried about service downtime. More than anything, clients think that if they need a service and if for any reason that service is denied, it causes a lot of stress amongst clients. The other issue that concerns client is this whole PIN protection issue, the issue about security of service. The next issue that concerns client is the issue of transparency. What is the pricing of this service? Am I getting what I should get in terms of services? And the next issue that clients are concerned about is the whole issue about customer recourse. Where do I go if there is a problem? These are the 4 issues from a customer perspective that customers are worried about in digital financial services. Service denial is the first and foremost issue that clients are concerned about. They are worried that at a point in time when they need a service, it will be denied to them. What they worry about is that the client may not have liquidity, that the servers may be down, that for some reason or the other, the agent will turn them back and want them to come back later. Service denial also leads to loss of money, loss of transactions, because money is now stuck in the servers. The client doesn't know whether it has reached the intended beneficiary. The agent is unable to confirm. It just leads to a loss of faith in the entire service. In the absence of any normative features which basically decide on what is the service uptime, there is a lot of gap around what are the service standards that should be applied to digital financial services. And this is an area the industry should really work upon, because just like in any other financial services, there is money involved, and people should get instant proof that this money has reached or been deposited in the account that they wanted it to go to. The next point in appropriate business conduct is about agent liquidity. Does the agent have the cash and the liquidity to be able to honor a transaction? This is also a service denial issue, and customers, it makes them very apprehensive that once they approach an agent, would the agent have the money to be able to, either in terms of liquid money to be able to cash out, or in terms of e-money to be able to send it to the intended beneficiaries or recipients. The other thing concerning customers of digital financial services is the whole PIN security issue. How do we manage PIN security? How do we ensure that customers understand that this is a very, very important piece of information that they have to guard with and keep with themselves? In a typical scenario where most customers are illiterate or are not very adept at handling technology, they entrust the PIN, setting up of the PIN to the agent. Now, if the agent is setting up PIN for 60, 70, 100 people, in all likelihood, he or she will assign the same PIN number. So you will have villages with the same PIN, with everybody knowing everybody other's PIN. In such a scenario, when the DFS provider reaches out and says that you should keep your PIN secure, it only makes the customers very, very worried as to how do they do it, because they do not know how to fix the PIN in the first case. So PIN security is a measure that's really not working in digital financial services. And in a very, very mobile-led environment, we have to think of alternate measures or go on very, very large-scale financial literacy measures to be able to ensure that clients understand the importance of PIN and keep it secret. The next issue worrying customers of digital financial services is the whole issue around customer recourse. Whom do I go to when a transaction goes wrong? Whom do I approach if I send money to a wrong or unintended beneficiary? There are legal lacunas and there are process-related lacunas in this entire customer recourse equation. It doesn't seem to be working the way providers would probably want it to work. And the most challenging problem is that of money reaching unintended beneficiaries. There have been large-scale problems of millions of dollars of money lying in accounts unclaimed because it was sent to a number which really didn't exist, and so it lies in the suspense account of these DFS providers. The whole issue is how do we tackle it? Some of the companies have come up with innovative measures by means of which they are able to reduce the whole money going to unintended beneficiaries syndrome. And these are putting in a check digit. These could be having the numbers of the beneficiaries displayed with their names and asking for a confirmation before the money is sent to them. But DFS providers will have to make efforts to be able to address this issue. And this is an issue that just reduces the utility of this service quite significantly, because money has now reached an unintended beneficiary and I'm not able to claw it back and get it back. The other thing that happens with lack of customer recourse is that customers are more inclined to give their phones to the agent and say, you transact for me. Somewhere is the belief that the agent knows how to transact, will be able to do a far better job of doing the transaction without any mistakes. And this, in some senses, is the genesis of the whole OTC transaction that are taking place. Of course, this is not the only point for OTCs, but I personally believe that this is definitely one of the aspects that is aiding the move towards OTC, or over-the-counter transactions, or transaction in which we do not really know who was the sender, or in some cases, who is the receiver of money. The last point that I would like to make is that customers are not very clear about pricing. They do not necessarily complain about high prices, it's just that they would like to be a little more clear about the pricing structures. And I think that is where DFS providers could actually go in with a very clear and simple pricing structure that is understood by all clients, and that is easier to communicate. The branding and communication of DFS providers, especially the communication around pricing, should be very upfront and in your face in agent outlets, so that customers can see that this is a very transparent setup, that they understand what they have to pay for any service that they take up. The last point that I would like to make is about this move towards the over-the-counter transactions, which is causing some concern, maybe legitimate, maybe not so. But the issue around OTC, at least in some environments like Bangladesh, is that you do not know who sent the money and who received the money. In an environment where SIM security is anyway suspect, where SIM cards are issued without adequate checks and safeguards, you are now getting into a system where millions of people are onto SIM cards whose actual names and addresses are either unclear or false. What is the implication of such a scenario for the overall financial inclusion in a country? The other aspect which is probably driving OTC is that the USSD model of technology ensures that DFS providers are able to give only about 70 to 90 seconds to a client to transact. This might mean going through 7 or 8 windows of transactions at a time. And poor customers who haven't handled this level of technology earlier on are just not able to do it. So this move towards, let us rather give it to an agent who is better at handling the mobile phone and would be able to do a better job. So this, in sum total, do we really want OTC? It's an integral part of this move towards financial inclusion riding on digital finance platforms. At the same time, what are we doing to ensure that the KYC norms in DFS at least remain to a level where the overall financial inclusion environment and the overall financial system, the banking environment in a country is not corrupted?